I'm sitting here looking at my computer screen after finishing. Yeah, I said finishing Transformers Devastation, and I have no idea what to write. I'm conflicted between the Transformers loving fanboy who has bought the 1986 animated movie 4 times, the G1 series 2 times, owns 2 sets of Headmaster, Master Force and Victory series, plus a set of Beast Wars and Beast Machines, and of course the honest game reviewer that I aspire to be. On one hand, I'm loving this game to death, but on the other hand, I'm so disappointed and I feel like I just wasted my money. Let's start with the positive and let the fanboy in me go first. Transformers Devastation looks amazing. The cell shading in this game makes the whole thing look like the characters are straight from the cartoon, but in a 3D world, while still retaining all the charm and character that comes along with the original cell animation, if that makes sense. If you're a reader of the Dreamwave comic series a few years back, then this style will look very familiar to you. Everything is simple, but with a high detail that it's amazing not to get lost and just think that this was a new episode of the cartoon. Bonus points for introducing screens for the characters that look like the old toy tech specs though, as that just really helps capture the nostalgia of the series. Another aspect that helps you get lost in Transformers Devastation is the story. The whole thing plays out like an episode of the old cartoon, complete with logo transitions, though the sound was changed for some reason, and the overall story arc is extremely well done. Hell, Transformers Devastation plays out like a really good 2 to 3 part saga in the vein of The Ultimate Doom, Megatron's Master Plan, Key for Vector Sigma, stuff like that. Transformers Devastation takes place during Season 2 of the cartoon. Megatron has found the Proud Star, a Cybertronian spaceship that has the ability to cyberform planets such as Earth, as well as control the Insecticons. Optimus Prime, along with Bumblebee, Wheeljack, Sideswipe and Grimlock, task themselves with stopping Megatron's plan and save the planet. While this doesn't sound like much, I've left out a lot of the details on purpose because they're pretty much spoilers for the later half of the game. The gameplay works really well. Transformers games are by and large a combination of driving and fighting, and Platinum Games mixes the two really well. The base of the fighting mechanics is taken directly from their biggest hit, Bayonetta. You have heavy and light attacks that, when chained correctly, will allow you to get a free hit in your vehicle form. You can also shoot at enemies from a distance with your guns too. An auto-aim helps pinpoint enemies that you might not notice, as well as flying enemies that will otherwise annoy the crap out of you. Speaking of the guns, you gain new weapons throughout finding random drops in the game, and all of them look exactly like something from the Generation 1 toy line, with the exception of later lore weapons like the Starsaber, which looks like something out of Transformers Prime, but otherwise everything else is just pure classic design. You can take these weapons and merge them into others to strengthen them. I recommend powering up the special boss drops, as they can get overpowered really quickly and make the game a lot easier. Another thing you can do with your character is augment them through the tech mechanic. These upgrades are crafted at random by Wheeljack, who is wagering currency with some sort of weird timing minigame. If you hit the right spot, then you'll get some awesome amazing upgrades like increase health by 200%, extend the game's reaction time mode for twice as long, or boost the jumping and things like that. Fail and you might get a 1% boost to your vehicle mode or something useless. However, considering your character levels up pretty fast in this game and your weapons add to the stats of your character, these augments are pretty much useless, but can be fun nonetheless. The sound in Transformers Devastation is 99.9% accurate. I can just sit there and press the transformation button over and over just to hear those 2 sound clips all day long. The voice cast here is exceptional, but that's what you get when you try to get the original voice cast to voice their characters once again. I think the only excuse for someone not voicing their character in this game was because that they themselves have passed on, but the people they got to cover those voices are so close to the original that you can hardly tell a difference. The music is pretty much spot on too, but to be honest, I didn't take much notice of the background music while bashing Bots' face in. Now comes the part where my little fanboy heart rips in two because I have complaints. Let's start with the controls. While Transformers Devastation is pretty simple with the mechanics, there's no lock-on button. If you're going to have a game where you're taking on a big bunch of enemies at once, this is a must. Why didn't they include it? I don't know how many times I've wasted spinning the camera around trying to get lock onto an opponent like Starscream as he flies above my head and I can't lock onto him. The next thing is the reaction time mechanic, which is ripped straight out of Bayonetta. If you dodge at the right moment, then you activate a slow motion moment that gives you time to smash spots in without having to worry about getting yourself smacked around in the process. The problem with this is that time between the game tells you to get ready and the moment you need to activate this mechanic is so minute that you'll often miss it and get hammered. This could possibly be due to the PS4 controller lag, but I'm not too sure. Also, the driving in this game is absolute garbage. Sharp turns in a panic will have you failing and falling off platforms and going insane as you lose over and over and over when you need pinpoint movement. And again, the camera is not your friend here. The other thing that really annoys me is Transformers Devastation's story. On one hand, it's great, perhaps too great. There are things in the story that they touch on that makes you feel like there will be a lot more after the main threat has been taken care of. But no. Transformers Devastation builds a sudden gauntlet, a big showdown, and then it's done. Only to tease you with more to come after the credits have stopped rolling. You remember how some movies will end with a cliffhanger just so a sequel will get a green light? Well, that's what you get here. And if it's one thing we know all too well, is that cliffhangers do not always guarantee sequels. The whole thing is capped off by the game's length. My playthrough of the game clocked in at around 4 hours according to the timer Windows showed me when I highlighted all the files I recorded, which does include me messing around in the gallery for about 5 minutes. Transformers Devastation had enough story in it to easily double the length of the game and make it worth the $50 that you're going to be dropping on it. But it doesn't go for it, so they can attempt a sequel, or they didn't have a budget, or something. Some restriction somewhere has screwed this game's length in such a way that it has pissed me off and made me think that I've done something wrong. This is where I'm torn between myself with Transformers Devastation. It's a great game, but it's too short. Platinum Games captured the spirit of the cartoon extremely well. The characters are an amazing trip down nostalgia road that I'm happy to take as my little fanboy heart sings with every blast from Prime's ion cannon. However, the letdown of the story being cut short, along with the gameplay mechanics not quite being perfect, has me angry and feel like I've wasted my money. If this game was a $20 budget title, then I'd have nothing but praise for it, as that's what it's worth. But being this close to full price, and the amount of money that we're paying for it, we deserve Transformers Devastation to be the best it can be, not this gigantic hype and then this terrible soul-crushing disappointment. Transformers Devastation is by far the best Transformers game we have gotten in a long time, if not ever. I'm putting it above the Cybertron series by High Moon Studios. It is 1,000,000 times better than Rise of the Dark Spark, and so far beyond Generation 1 games like Convoy no Nazo and Transformers Tatakai on the PS2 that it's not even funny. But this game is being so close to perfect, and it crushes my soul that they didn't reach that tiny bit further to obtain it and give us the game that we have been longing for as Transformers fans for years, decades. I hate to say it, but avoid this game until it hits the bargain bins. Oh, that hurt to say.